Alright, so in this video we have a new pair of Adidas sneakers, and this one has some new technology that I want to explain and get into a little bit because it's kind of an interesting one, and it is called AdiPLUS. So not adiprene plus, this is actually called AdiPLUS. It is a light, soft, squishy like foam that is introduced on this model right here. And this is the Oznova, which is the latest in the lineage of Ozworld sneakers. The Ozworld is what they're calling them. All of the ones in the DNA lineage of the Oswego, which if you haven't seen, this is like a version of the Oswego. And this model's had a nice life cycle on Adidas website through a bunch of different colorways, a bunch of different variations. This is a zip version, but the Oswego is a very nice, comfortable, moderately priced pair of sneakers. Definitely worth checking out if you've never tried any of them. I also have a couple of the other ones out here. One of my favorites, the Azalea, which is again under the Oswego line. This one is like a great $100 pair of sneakers. I did a review on these and I absolutely love this one right here. And then we also have the Ozra, which is another pair that released last year that has something that looks very, very similar. It is adiprene plus, and although it has the same sort of exposed foam on the midsole as the Oznova, the Ozra is different because this is adiprene plus versus the AdiPLUS. Also, for comparative purposes, I have this guy right here. I decided to compare them to these guys as well in this video, and this is the ZX22 Boost, which is the newer version of the ZX line. Two heavy hitters, one in the Ozworld, one in the ZX lineage, and this one does feature a different type of boost in it that I just did a review on. This actually has jet boost. So we have two new technologies from Adidas 2022, jet boost and then the AdiPLUS. We have a lot to cover in this video, so let's go ahead and jump in. What is going on, guys? Hess here. Hopefully you're having a good day out there. If you guys are new to my channel and you guys enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button. And if you guys like the content, feel free to hit the like button down there as well. If you guys want to buy some of the sneakers from the Ozworld lineup, check the link in the description as well as a link to the ZX22. I'll put all of them down there for you guys. But this is a new, latest and greatest version, and I was actually really excited to get these because I honestly forgot about this reveal that they had about the AdiPLUS cushioning system. And then I looked on their site and I was like, wait, this is like a new version of an Oswego. I definitely want to check it out. I've liked some of the previous versions out there. And so I bought these and I got them in hand. And I was like, wait, this is the one that had the AdiPLUS. So glad I was able to get a pair of these. There's definitely some things about the shoe that I really, really like. There's a lot of potential with the AdiPLUS sneaker cushioning in here. There's some things I didn't like about this sneaker as well, and I'll get into some of that in this video. From what Adidas says about the model, defined by exaggerated comfort, brought to life through bold lines, the newest addition to the Ozworld lineup, the Oznova sneaker, boasts a translucent overlaid upper, saddle top, an outsole with a glow-in-the-dark paneling that matches the AdiPLUS cushioning. I did not know that these glow in the dark. Meanwhile, resulting in a futuristic look that doesn't compromise the comfort, the Azalea features a dynamic adiprene plus cushioning outsole and a sleek upper. Taking archival visual codes on the intrepid new journey, the Oswego silhouette channels the best design cues of the 90s and 2000s, as the adiprene midsole supplies targeted support in the forefoot and heel. So not a ton of information about the AdiPLUS technology. However, I will say it is actually really nice on feet, and as soon as you put these on, you're like, whoa, these are pretty comfortable. Now, sizing of these, I would say they actually probably fit a little bit big, so I'm usually 9.5. I could probably do a 9 in these, but 9.5 is fine by me because honestly I like the extra toe room. However, I think the average person would probably say down half a size, but leave a comment in the comment section if you guys agree or disagree. This colorway kind of reminds me of the Ozra a little bit. This one has a little bit brighter purple hue. This is like a little bit dulled down and kind of brings out a little bit more of the gray. But honestly, this probably wouldn't be my first choice of colorway, but it's the only one available currently on this model. So I'm sure they'll have some really cool ones coming out because they have a bunch of cool layers on the upper that can really accentuate how futuristic and crazy these things look. Now, obviously this midsole is massive. You have a huge chunky midsole. It's very heavy, and the AdiPLUS cushioning is gushing out the sides of the shoe. 3 spots on the left, 3 spots on the right, and then a huge bulb on the back here. So I like the fact that it kind of spills over and is encased but also exposed, and honestly I bet it probably helps with the squishy feel underfoot because these things really do feel pretty good underfoot. I also like the insole liner. It's actually really soft down here as well. The upper is pretty interesting. There's 2 little strips of suede. That's all I could see. Basically one up the toe and then also one on the heel. And then you do have a translucent upper on the lower layer that has this really fine mesh that looks very breathable. And then over top of that, you have a TPU plastic layer that kind of goes around the shoe in the same sort of color. So it's layered, but it's interesting because it doesn't even look like it's layered. You could literally grab this purple line though, and you can feel that it's a separate layer. And then I do like that you have this crazy purple outline through the entire sneaker. And then the 3 stripes underneath are visible here in kind of a lighter purple. Translucent TPU for the laces up here as well. Again, clear and all in the same monotone color. And I feel like that's a good thing, but it also could be something that they could use as accents again for the upper and really make this thing pop. The plastic also comes up through the back here and kind of creates like a little mock pull tab, but it does have have an Adidas logo right here, and it's kind of cool looking how it kind of floats outside of the actual shoe. For the tongue, it feels like it's kind of a nylon tongue, and then you have the Oznova logo down the middle of the shoe, which is exactly the same as the Ozra and the Azalea. So kind of throwing out a bunch of different wrenches in there and really confusing the market, but at the same time keeping it consistent. And I think that's the thing I actually really like about what they're doing with the Oz World series, is they're actually labeling it Osworld, and then you have a bunch of different variations that stem off of that Oswego lineage. And I think that that's pretty cool that we have something there, because honestly, there's a lot of sneakers that get released, there's a lot of stuff that gets lost in the shuffle, and if they have 3 or 4 different versions of like Oswego type sneakers, it's like, which one do you end up buying? I wanted to kind of break down some of the differences between some of the ones that I have here and let you guys kind of know what I think. But finishing off the shoe first, it feels like you have kind of a fake patent leather on the back here. It looks like just vinyl through the back collar of the shoe, and then the liner is nice and soft there, and then the reverse side of the tongue is nice and soft. And I like that they changed the colors between the liner and then the back of the tongue just a little bit, but enough to notice that they had some change. The outsole has a lot of traction down here, as you can see, and then there is a little bit of gap in the middle where you do have that carrier foam, and then it does have a little bit of a tab that sticks out at the back of the shoe. But nice looking outsole, nice looking traction there. And overall, this is a really, really heavy, chunky dad shoe. I know everybody's going to say 700s, and you can definitely say that this is like a takedown version. I mean, Yeezy 700s are $300. This is 120. Obviously, it's chunky, and it's Adidas. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's a nice option for somebody looking for something different. Is it the best option for that price point? It just depends on your feet. Honestly, there's a couple things that I like about this one better than some of the others, and there's a couple things I like a little bit less. So doing a foam density check on this AdiPLUS cushioning, I would say this is about a 34 roughly, and I'm not an expert at measuring the foam density, but I do have a little tool here to help. And then for the adiprene plus, which are featured in these 2 sneakers, it's around like a 40-ish or so. The adiprene on this one's like around a 49 or so, so this is actually a little bit firmer than the rest, at least from my readings. And then the ZX22 boost, the jet boost was like 25 to 30. Honestly, it was really hard to measure, but this one seems to be the softest of all of them, which is weird because to the touch, this one feels softer and squishier in hand than this one does. But honestly, it's kind of funny because on feet, it's a different story. So we'll start off head to head here. The Oznova with the AdiPLUS versus the ZX22 with the Jet Boost. I know this is crazy, there's so much tech involved, but both of them have encased cushioning in the midsole. So they have a carrier foam on the outside of the midsole, and then the technology foam is kind of embedded in between. You got a mesh versus a see-through upper on here. Personally, I prefer the mesh over the see-through. The Oznova is actually a bulkier shoe. It has a longer heel as well. So if you want bigger and bulkier, this one's for you. If you want a little bit less bulky than the ZX22. As for the toe box, I would say that the Oznova has a wider toe box. However, this ZX22 still has a pretty wide toe box, so this one's like extra wide. Now the big question, I'm sure, AdiPLUS versus the Jet Boost. So I tried both of these on side by side. I would say the Jet Boost actually has more spring back inside of the shoe, which is crazy because if you go from bare feet and you throw these on, which is what I did, these were really, really soft and squishy and comfortable. But then I threw these on, and I was like, well, this one's even next level to what this one offered. Which one of these had more forefoot squish? I would say the ZX22 had much more forefoot squishy feel in it than the Oznovas. I would also say that the ZX22 had better heel-toe transition because it kind of has a little bit of a heel up in the back, a little bit more curvature there. This one kind of runs a little bit flat when you're walking around, which honestly is not a bad thing, but this one just felt a little bit smoother overall. I would say the insole though, and the interior feel when you put these on feet definitely goes to the Oznova. I really like the insole in here. It feels really good when you slide them on foot. Now a little head-to-head, the Ozra versus the Oznova. Obviously the Oznova has a higher cushion stack, and there's way more toe box room in the Oznova versus the Ozra. Which is more comfortable between these two though? In my opinion, the Oznova takes it hands down. There's a lot more squishy feel in the midsole on this than there is on this. However, there is more heel stability on the Ozra, so throwing that out there. I didn't notice any crazy stability issues on this shoe, but I'm just saying that this one felt a lot more stable. Also, the other reason why this one's not as comfortable is because it's just way too snug across the midfoot, at least for my foot. I don't have that feeling on the Oznova. It definitely feels a lot more pillowy all around, not just on the outsole. Now we have these two right here, the Oswego and then the Oznova. I would actually say the Oswego has better overall comfort inside of the foot. Like you get your foot inside of the shoe, the overall interior feel on your foot feels really, really good on the Oswego. The Oznova is pretty good, but it's better on this one in my opinion. Also, we have adiprene plus versus AdiPLUS technology on the midsole, so which is more comfortable. Honestly, I really like the Oswego. It's a little bit lighter than this one. Obviously, you have a really heavy midsole that's encased, but the reason why I like this one better, even though the adiprene plus is a little bit harder than the AdiPLUS, it actually feels softer on foot because it's not encased in the carrier foam that the AdiPLUS is. So because of that, this is a lot heavier, this is a lot lighter, and it actually feels pretty nice on feet as well. But here's a game-changing thought. What if the Oznova did not have a carrier foam on the outside, or it was not encased, or it didn't have the AdiPLUS sneaker cushioning encased in the midsole? I feel like that could be a winner for sure in the future. If Adidas releases an AdiPLUS pair of sneakers that just has the AdiPLUS in the midsole, maybe a little rubber on the outsole, I feel like that could be a crazy soft squishy feeling ride. Also, another huge thing that Adidas could do with this AdiPLUS is create slides. Create an AdiPLUS slide with this foam instead of the adiprene or anything else. I feel like that could be something awesome. It would be firmer than the Adilets because those are super soft, but it would be really nice to be able to have this technology on a pair of slides as well. I think it would be pretty phenomenal. But all in all, I think the new technology is good. I think the delivery of it in this is actually pretty good, but it could be a lot better if it was just the regular exposed foam, but that's just my 2 cents. I think overall the shoe looks really cool. It feels really cool on feet. Yes, there's better options out there. Yes, it's not my favorite, but it's definitely one of those ones you could throw on feet and be happy that you threw them on feet. And if you don't have the other ones to compare it to, and you're only comparing to like a pair of Jordan 1s or 3s or something like that, like this is hands down way more comfortable pair of sneakers. My choice out of these 5 though, honestly, I'd probably go with the ZX22 over the Oznova, which is kind of interesting because I like the overall look of the Oznova probably better than this one, but the overall feel on feet and the squishy feel on these are actually really good. And it took me trying on some of the other models that are comfortable to realize that this one is like next level comfort comparison to some of the other ones that I've tried. And I've also tried the ZX2Ks and the 5Ks and all those other ones. This ZX22 is actually set up really nice. Definitely recommend it for the price point. But I would also recommend the Oznovas if you guys like that lineage of the Ozworld sneakers. I actually really like all of these sneakers out here. The one that I don't like as much is this one here, the Ozra, just again because it's a little bit too snug across here. But I actually really like the look of this one as well. I think the Oswego line is really solid and one that is not hyped up, and a lot of sneakerhead people aren't really rocking it, but I think a lot of normal people are going to the website, seeing them in store, and seeing it looks like a pretty cool casual shoe that's made for casual, and I don't know, I appreciate it because of that. But anyways, if you guys want to buy any of these sneakers out here, I'll link them in the description. If you guys are new to my channel and you guys enjoy the content, hit that subscribe button, notification bell, and the like button while you're down there, and have a good rest of the day. Thanks again for watching. Peace, guys.